This episode is sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. Stick around till the end of the video to learn why I like it. Okay, wait, let me close the door. Okay, I just closed the door on the cord. I know I make it look easy. It's not. For anybody who thinks I've got it together when you watch my lecture style videos, which are scripted and researched, I don't. I tipped over a light in the making of this set. I slammed the door on my laptop cord, and I realized I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be doing in a vlog. So, hi, I have ADHD. It's been about 5 years since I started How to ADHD, and when I first started, I really didn't know anything about ADHD. I had been diagnosed with ADD when I was 12, and when I went to learn about ADHD, I was really overwhelmed with how much information there was. I thought it was gonna be like weeks or months, but it turned out to be years of learning how the ADHD brain works and strategies for learning to work with it so that we can function in a neurotypical world. And the reason I started doing that was because I had put so much effort into so many things and failed at so many things. I just needed to learn how to function in a neurotypical world with a brain that was not neurotypical. But after 5 years, I'm starting to see the possibilities that maybe we don't just have to stop there. What if we can make the world more ADHD friendly? And I'm starting to think that we can. Maybe that starts with making our own environment more ADHD friendly. I look around my house and I realize, like, as much as I know about ADHD, I'm not really doing a lot to make my life easier. I'm using all these strategies, but if your brain isn't super compatible with the environment, you have a few options. You can adapt your brain, right? And that's what we do with things like medication or making sure we're exercising a lot, getting those brain chemicals up. We can adapt our environment, which at the time that I started this channel wasn't really an option. I couldn't change the way that the restaurant that I was waiting tables at worked. So I had to go with the middle option, use an adapter. An adapter is just a strategy to make it so that your ADHD brain fits better in a neurotypical environment. But I feel like if we've learned anything from COVID, it's that the world can change. And the world can change fast. And we're about to rebuild. And I want to see that rebuilding happen in a way that's more ADHD friendly. And I think at this point, as people go back to work in offices, we can start to make those places a little more ADHD friendly too. And so I've actually teamed up with Eric Tivers of ADHD Rewired, and we're gonna be doing something called the ADHD Friendly World Summit. And we're gonna be doing it theoretically. I think we've landed on Eric Tivers and Jessica McCabe attempt to present the ADHD Friendly World Summit. We're gonna be doing it in October for ADHD Awareness Month. It'll be an online summit. We're gonna try and have a live component to it. We've never done this before, wish us luck. But the focus is gonna be on that. Instead of just strategies for us fitting into a neurotypical world, how do we bend the world to fit us? We don't have to wait for the world to be ADHD friendly. There are things that we can do. Some of those things might be things that we do in our personal environment. Some of those things might be, hey, which job do we choose? Do we work for an employer that is ADHD friendly, or do we work for an employer that we feel uncomfortable even mentioning that we have ADHD because we're pretty sure that that's not okay in that environment? If we can make the choice that's ADHD friendly, eventually the changes that we make to make our world more ADHD friendly can make the world more ADHD friendly. If I, in college, instead of saying, well, you know, I'm gifted, I shouldn't need accommodations, if I'd recognized that I was struggling and said, you know what, even though I can do it without the accommodations, those accommodations are available to me for a reason. I have ADHD and I do struggle even though I'm smart. And if I had taken advantage of those accommodations, maybe another student would have seen that and been inspired to do the same. And if more people are doing it, maybe more funding goes to that because people are needing those services and taking advantage of those services. There was a form that I had to fill out the other day, and it was actually several forms. It was really intense, and it was one of those things that my bank sent me this stuff after my mom died, and I looked at it, and my first thought was, oh God, like I can't do this. I am really overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. What's wrong with me? And then I thought about it, and it's like, this is a bank. This bank wants my money. I'm gonna tell them. So I actually reached out to them and I said, hey, I have ADHD. I struggle with forms like these. This is really overwhelming and complicated. Can somebody help me through it? And they did. Somebody actually filled out as much of the forms as they could and sent them back to me and gave me clear instructions, had me call so they could walk me through it. I didn't know that that was possible, but it is. We don't just have to accept that we live in a world that is not built for our brains anymore. There's enough of us becoming aware of our ADHD and becoming educated about our ADHD, I think we can start speaking up about this. We live in a world where mental health is talked about on a daily basis right now, and it's safe. Maybe not for everybody, but it's safe for a lot of people to start talking about this. And I really want to encourage people who can talk about it to talk about it. If you are in a position at work where you can speak up and you don't have to worry about your job, you speaking up about accommodations can make it safer for somebody else. And I think there's just something really powerful and cool about that, to know that if we make our world ADHD friendly, if we push for changes in the world so that the world is more ADHD friendly, that's not only good for us, that's good for other people with ADHD who maybe don't find this YouTube channel or who maybe don't even know they have ADHD. And now the world works a little bit better for them too. And here's the super cool thing. It's this concept of universal design. An ADHD friendly world is an everybody friendly world. Because really what we're talking about when we say ADHD friendly is making things easier on our executive function. And everybody could use that. An ADHD friendly world is a more automated world, and that's the direction we're headed anyway. I really want to see a world where people can work in the way that their brain works and not feel like there's something wrong with them for doing that. Part of that is using strategies. Part of that is using medication or mindfulness or any of these tools that we can use to kind of get our brains to a good space to be able to function in this world. But part of that is making the world more ADHD friendly, making it more executive function friendly. I can't do it by myself, but I got a lot of people listening and I reached out. I asked a lot of people on Twitter, like, what would make the world more ADHD friendly? And I got a lot of answers. Written instructions / training when starting a job that takes you step by step through the process would be amazing. One person said, for people to understand how incredibly powerful compliments are for someone with ADHD. This is so true. We really do well with positive feedback. More flexible and adaptive standards of productivity. Yeah, eliminating stereotypes about the proper adult, proper woman, proper worker, etc., as they only lead to shaming. Maybe adjusting the social expectations that are hard for us to conform to. So right now it might be considered inappropriate to play with a fidget toy during a company meeting, but why? If we focus better and we produce better, who does it hurt? Employers not assuming that the fact that our energy levels are unpredictable and vary day by day makes us unreliable, inconsistent, and untrustworthy. Yeah, it's really natural for ADHDers' productivity to fluctuate. Some days we might be able to hyper-focus and get a lot done, and some days we might be low energy and have a bad brain day and we don't get as much done. That's not us being unreliable, that's just how our brains work. Putting an end to tell me of a time you blank questions during job interviews. Difficulties with memory recall make these kinds of questions impossible for me. Yeah, I get stuck on these so much, and it's not like I don't have times when I've done that, I just have trouble remembering them, especially when I'm put on the spot like that. This concept is so important to me that I'm actually committing to only partnering with brands that are ADHD friendly in some way. The Great Courses Plus is one of them. My goal this year is to learn how to do things I want to be able to do. Just things that make me happy, that I kind of gave up on as a kid but wish I hadn't. Like play the piano. And to do this, I've been using the Great Courses Plus, which is a subscription service that offers courses from actual professors and experts in their field. It's great for my ADHD brain because there are a lot of courses to choose from on all kinds of different topics. And a lot of them, like my piano course, come with supplemental materials, basically an entire textbook for free. And there's an app for it, which is perfect because I can just put my phone on the piano and watch the course while I play. I love this course because I'm learning a lot that I was never taught when I took lessons as a kid, like how to practice effectively. And the professor does a really good job of normalizing the stuff that used to frustrate me and make me give up, like messing up a lot or not playing as well as when I practiced at home. She's really good and really encouraging. And the lessons are only half an hour at a time, which is long enough to feel like I'm making progress, but not so long that I get bored. And if I have less time than that, because I'm running late that day, I can change up the speed. If you want to try the Great Courses Plus, you can start a free trial. They're going to be supporting this channel all year. So if you want to support them and the really great content they provide, go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/howtoadhd or click on the description below to start your free trial today. And like any free trial, make sure to set a reminder to decide if you'd like to keep it before they bill your card. ADHD PSA. I'm realizing a lot of what makes the world ADHD friendly is things like education and awareness and acceptance and just embracing that diversity is a good thing. All diversity is a good thing. I think it's one in which our environment's more ADHD friendly. I think it's one in which products are more ADHD friendly. And so that's probably going to be my focus on the channel. I'm going to start reviewing products and talking about what makes them ADHD friendly and start highlighting things that are built the way that we are. And I'm going to start talking about how to create environments that are ADHD friendly, whether that is a classroom or our bedroom. Because as Eric Tivers says, as he got from somebody named Mel, I found out, we can do hard things, but we don't need to do them in the hardest way possible. Let's figure out how to not have to do them in the hardest way possible.